Hello and welcome to the Accountability Mobile app tutorial. What you're looking at here in the background is the command center, actually, where management controls, different activity types and incidents, and can track everything and decide how the reports go out to everyone. Nice thing is about this app, you don't have to submit reports at the end of the day. Every time you do a submission, it automatically builds the report and it goes out the way that the manager wants it to go out. What we have on the right here is my phone, and there's the app, the accountability app. Just click that, you put in your username and your password. Now, if you forget your username, you can click this link here, and as long as there's an email address in the system, then it allows for you to receive an email to reset your password. All right, I'm going to log in to the mobile app. It's going to say your name as you log in. So, you'll see that at the top of the app, and you'll know that you logged in as the right person. If you're sharing devices, that's handy, because if you get handed the phone and it still says the previous security officer's name there, you can log out down at the bottom here, log back in to see your own name there. These buttons on the mobile app are going to be different according to what permissions and what functions your management wants in the system for you and for the company as a whole. It may be that you guys are not doing visitor management. That won't be there. It may be that when you go into reports and logs, you're not doing Narcan reports. So these things won't necessarily be there, but I'm just going to give an overview of the whole thing. The two icons here, everything else is words. We try to keep this super simple. We want to make this as easy as possible for you. So one of these two icons here is a user manual. I tap that, and it gives me the latest version of the user manual. You can go in there. It's usually, it's just mainly things that, you tap this, it does that. You can enlarge it, to read it better. It's right there at your fingertips. Upper right-hand corner will always be the latest version of the user manual for this app. This is an emergency alert. If it is activated, what it does is when you tap it, it starts a 10-second timer. And I don't know if you can hear that. There's a siren going off on my phone at the same time. That may or may not be engaged. It tells you that you can cancel it or submit it quicker. If you don't, it goes through to whatever emergency contacts are going to be in the system for you. And in that moment, I am on the list, so I have already received this emergency alert. Tells me Security Manager Steve has submitted a panic notification. Gives me the phone number so the management can call you, and it gives me your coordinates. So if you're not answering your phone, somebody can get out there. So you don't want to tap that unless you're in trouble, but it is a lone worker type of function that is going to be very useful if you are thinking you may be in some sort of trouble. You just tap that button there, or that icon. Anywhere in the app that you are, like if you're deep in the app somewhere and post orders, or and looking at suspicious vehicle or something like that, you can always tap the logo in the upper left-hand corner, and it asks you if you want to return to the main menu. Yes. So that's just a shortcut to always get back to the main menu. If you have been sent any messages by management, you will have something that says new messages. And if you have two-way messaging turned on, you can reply to them. So I'm going to go into messages, retrieving my latest message. Here's my message. Now I can send a message back to Security Manager Steve or to whoever else that's in management. This is not like texting that you send stuff back and forth to other security officers, but you can send stuff to supervisors and managers through the app this way, and then they receive it up here in their command center. All right, now when I return, it says no new messages, and those messages are stored under messages for a week, because these are more like, BOLOs or, check your post orders, things like that. Starting at the top, this change site button is not necessarily going to be there, and may well not, because if you're a geofence security officer, then this would override that. So you may not have the capability to override a geofence. This is a management function to be able to do an incident report from the office or from a different location. Activity form, let me show you how the geofencing works here. When I tap activity form, it's going to try to find my location, but I am not at one of the sites right now. So it's going to tell me that I need to get to the site in order to do this. Now, technology can also be a fault in, situations. So refreshing location will allow it to try once again to grab your location. The only reason this could be happening, besides the fact that you're not at the site yet or within range of a checkpoint at that site, is because your location services on your device are not activated. So you need to go into your device, locate or activate your location services, and you'll be able to be found. Now, when I'm going to use the change site button because I am a manager. So this is what it would look like if the geofence had been working if I was at the location. So once that's saved, now when I go to an activity form, if you're a geofence to that location, it's going to say trying to find the location, and it's going to come up filled in with the checkpoint that you're in range of. If you are, let's say, next to another checkpoint or another site, if there might be an overlap, and it'll give you two choices. You just need to know that, well, I'm at this site, so I'm going to choose this site, because if they're right next to each other, you may get a couple options with the geofence. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to do an activity. Now, these are outside of scan points. Maybe your folks, your management only wants you doing scans and so forth, or only doing activities. So it's whatever they choose and direct you to do. Now, I'm going to say I'm doing a foot patrol, and I'm going to tap in here. I'm going to tap my microphone. This has spell check built in, and it holds up to 64,000 characters. So you're never going to run out of information there that you can record. Now, in an activity, you're probably not going to need much information. If this rises to a higher level, maybe it's about you're doing a light check instead, and the maintenance guy has said for the last couple of weeks that he's going to be fixing this burned out light, and you're just letting the next shift know that maintenance said that. Maybe you recorded that information, maintenance is going to fix this, and now the next shift can look in their pass down log and see that this is supposed to be fixed. You can take a photo of the light, a couple of pictures, whatever. And this is another shortcut. You're going to see stuff like this all throughout. I'm not going to go over all of it, but this is just like, let's say you just realize the light isn't burned out, it's been shot out. There's a casing, there's a broken glass. Now this is going to turn into an incident. You just check that box. And what that does is, by checking that box, when you hit submit, it goes into the system, into your activity report, but it also opens an incident already filled out with everything you collected in that activity. So instead of coming back to the screen to do another activity, it would have an incident report partially filled out for you to finish up. I'm just going to return to the menu. Now it also drops a pin, showing them exactly where you are, just like the emergency alert. All right, so it is the activities and the scans that create your daily activity report. The system does it automatically, as I said. So every time you submit a scan or an activity, you can collect data, you can take pictures, and it creates a time-stamped, geotagged entry in your daily activity report or shift report. So this is automatically being done for you. You don't have to submit anything at the end of the day. You're just going through your day, doing your activities, doing your scans, and it goes in every time you hit submit. It creates that report automatically. Incident reports, this is a really super simple one. This is what it would look like to management or the customers once you've submitted an incident report. This only has a couple of sentences and 2 pictures, but as I just recorded there in the previous activity, these fields hold up to 64,000 characters, so you're never going to run out of information that you can collect if an incident requires it. Again, it is the activities and the scans that create that. Now, scan form looks very similar to an activity form, except that it's already partially filled in because it's based on that location. I have a NFC tag in front of me. Now, you're not going to have this register NFC unless you are a level 1 or 2 manager, and unless they're using NFC tags. So you may only see QR, you may only see NFC. I have an NFC in front of me, so I'm going to tap that. Tells me to hold it up to the NFC tag. It scans the NFC tag. Tells me that I am at the Palm Harbor Condos front door, and it gives me instructions. So if there are any checkpoint instructions, there may be a paragraph of information. If this is at a boiler, it may say, if the temperature is above such and such, immediately call this phone number. And you can record information just like the activity, take a couple of pictures, hit submit, goes into the system in real time and into the map here. Lets you know your scan has been successful. Activities and scans, creating your DAR. Messages, if you're doing in-app messaging, will be stored there for a week. The higher level reports are under reports and logs, or the more detailed reports, I should say. Incident reports, person and vehicle. Anything you collect in person and vehicles, whether you're doing it separately or as part of an incident report, is accessible in your person vehicle log or lookup, which is a police type function that allows for you to look at. Well, I'll just show you right now. Just like a police officer does not pull up behind you at a traffic stop and just run up to your window. They're going to put in your plate. They're going to check things a couple of different ways before they approach the vehicle. That's what this is. Whatever you can collect. It might be a person with their driver's license, or just a name, or just a description, or if you're lucky enough to get a plate. I'm just going to hit search because this is our demo environment and I don't really know what's in here, but let's find something that looks accurate. Let's say I was just looking for a suspicious vehicle plate. Okay. Now it's going to pull this up and it's going to say that it's been in a spot for too long, or it's in a wrong spot, or whatever. And you may see that there's 3 of these reports, and you can now do an incident report to have it towed. So anything that you collect in persons and vehicles, as I'd mentioned, this is an ideal place to just tap this and go to my home screen. Tap the logo, go to the home screen. But as discussed, anything that is collected in this person and vehicle report, whether it's attached to an incident report or a standalone, is going to feed into and build that database of suspicious persons and vehicles. I'm going to do an incident report right now, and I won't do all the other reports because they're similar, but it'll be filled in with where you're geofenced at that location or the last location you scanned. The date of the incident and the time is already filled in for you based on when you started this thing. But maybe according to the witness, it also, happened at this time. I can save that. And I can even change the date if according to the witnesses, it was a different date and time. Incident type, you can choose, a couple of different incidents. And it's going to show up that way in the system that can be looked up by management for either of those incidents. If another officer was on the scene, you just start typing in their name. Comes up with that security officer's name, and you can just auto-populate that. Click on it. Short and sweet unless you check one of these boxes. Where the authority is notified, yes. Now it opens fields for you to collect all the data on the authority that was notified, including, police report number, time of arrival, all that stuff, but only if you need it. Same with the rest of these. Then we remind you what you're looking for. Again, you just tap inside that box, you tap your microphone, record as much information as you need to because these fields hold 64,000 characters. All right. Take a couple of photos, and then if you need more photos, this tells you tap the person vehicle link after submitting to add additional information or photos. So I submit my simple incident report. I can now return to the menu if I'm all done, or I can add a person and vehicle report. If I do that, if I attach person or vehicle, I just say whether it's a person or a vehicle, because the fields are different, obviously. And then there's all kinds of data I can select here. I'm just doing a field interview, or since it's part of an incident, let's say this is actually a suspect that I'm getting pictures of. And I can get as much of this information as I can get on that suspect. Driver's license information. I can even ban them from the property. So now next time when you look in the person vehicle log, that suspicious person vehicle log, it's going to show that this person's banned. They're not even supposed to be there. And do your report and take as many as 4 additional photos for this individual. Submit, goes right back up to the top to attach another person or vehicle to this incident report, or return to the menu. So that again is under reports and logs, where you're going to find these other types of reports. And whatever reports you have there, you can just tap on them and go in there and take a look, and they're going to work very similarly to the incident report. You don't have to submit them, but you can get a feel for how whatever reports you have access to work by just going into that report. The logs again for lookup are right here, whether it's a person vehicle that you're looking up from the past. If you're doing visitor management, you can check visitors that are coming and going in real time there. And the pass down log that was mentioned earlier, because certain forms will have the ability for the activity form, for example, has the ability for you to check that it should go into the pass down log for the next shift, so that for 24 hours, the following shifts see anything in that pass down log. Any incident reports that have occurred to the site automatically go into the pass down log, because that's important. It's going to show you there was an attempted break-in in building K last night. You have better situational awareness to be alert to that fact. And finally, at the bottom here, you have the ability to clean up your reports during the shift. So if you need to go back and fix up some spelling or something, you can do that here. This is just if you have any discipline reports that have come through, you can go in and sign those there. Going back to the main menu. By the way, I am in dark mode. It's real simple to go to light mode down here at the bottom. Now I'm in light mode, obviously. I just like to keep things in dark mode because I stare at screens all day long, so that's just better for your eyes. Plus, it's definitely good for nighttime work. Post orders, just what it sounds like. Tap post orders, and if there are any post orders loaded, it's going to be loaded with your location there. You can view your post orders. Again, you can pinch to zoom, make them bigger, easier to read. Post orders for that site. All right. Visitor management. If you're using visitor management, it's a simple process. You tap visitor management. It's filled in with the location that you've been working at. If it's a new visitor, you're going to collect all kinds of new data. If it's a returning visitor, you can start typing in the name, and as long as they're affiliated with that site and been there before, like a resident, let's say you're at a guard gate checking folks in and out, it's going to open a form already filled in with everything that was collected last time. So you don't have to collect it all again. It's very convenient that way. Finally, there is a scanning option for visitors coming and going. If management has you using that, you would just scan something and it would open the visitor form already filled in for you to be able to edit some basic information, like if they're coming or going, or driving a different vehicle today or what have you. New visitor. I'll just show you what the form looks like when it's not filled out. You just say whether they're arriving or departing. If they're a contractor, a guest, a resident, whatever. Delivery. And then there's some fields you can collect whatever you can collect, whatever management wants you to collect. Record some comments there. Again, just like anything else, you tap in there, use your microphone, speech to text. take a picture or two, submit. Goes into the system in real time. And again, if this is someone that's going to come again next time, then you are able to just start typing their name in and have all this information already filled in next time around. And finally, the supervisor menu. Well, I should mention scheduling. If the scheduling module has been activated by your management, you'd be able to go in there and see your schedules and whatever permissions you have to be able to switch shifts and stuff like that that management allows, you can do through the scheduling piece there. Supervisor menu then. This is where a supervisor, you can go in and do site inspections. Management or supervisors can do an employee discipline form. Officer lookup. This is a convenient feature because depending on the number of officers you have, you may not always remember what everybody looks like, or if you need to call them because you've arrived at the site and you don't see them, they're at a different area of the site, you can just start typing that person's name in. Comes up with that security officer that's somewhere on the site. You hit search, and it can even have a photo there, as you see. The phone number, the photo, the information for the security officer, so you can give them a call, ask them where they're at there. Incident report, just what it sounds like. You can look up a current previous incidents to see how it might work with what's going on right now. Adding a system user can be inconvenient. Maybe you got a call from one of your officers. You're not at location yet, but the officer can't log in because you haven't added them to the system yet. You can add a security officer right here on the fly. Give them a username and password, at least for now, and then go back in later and put in photos and stuff if that's something that you want. Client activity, scan activity, officer activity, and clock in and out activity if you guys are doing timekeeping. This is all just real-time situational awareness. So you can go in here, do a search, do a date range or whatever. I'm just going to hit search, and it shows you, recent activity that's been done in the system. And if you put a range in there, then of course it would just show you for today or whatever else. So that is the overview of the mobile app. Again, all of this is covered in the user manual right here, and stay safe out there.